Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets. Today, cracking the first in a series of German beers because it's Oktoberfest season. So Oktoberfest is in full swing right now in Germany, and everyone, does Oktoberfest parties around this time as well and whatnot. And because of this time of year, there is a flooding of awesome German beers on some shops online and whatnot. And one of those shops is Beer Dome. So Beer Dome had a huge selection of German beers from all kinds of German brewers, different types of lagers. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. So it was really awesome to see them have a huge selection. So thanks to Beer Dome for the beer. You'll be able to get this beer on there once I introduce it, and quite a few of the beers that I'll be trying here in the Oktoberfest season. And some of them will actually also be the authentic Oktoberfest beers. And I think we will do a blind tasting and try and figure out which of these big 6 Oktoberfest beers, so there's from 6 breweries, Spaten, Löwenbräu, Augustiner, Paulaner, Hofbrau, and what's the last one? I forgot the last one. Oh well. But there's 6 from those 6 are the most well-known ones, and I thought it'd be really fun to do them in a blind tasting. But we're starting this first. Well, I've been reviewing a lot of classic German beer in the last few years, anyways. But I thought it'd be fun to have an excuse to group all these together and drink a lot of awesome German beer, because I really love great German beer and great lager beer, and I've been a massive advocate for that on the channel for a long time. And then also being able to get them on a web shop and just have a wide selection of it is really cool. So we're doing a few different ones. But yeah, we're starting off with something I'm really amazed by getting to try again, because this used to be my very favorite Kellerbier. So this is from Georgen Bräu, a family-run brewery just outside of Bamberg in a small city called Buttenheim. And this is their Buttenheimer Kellerbier. So this is a beer I kind of grew up on. A local bar here called The Wharf, an English pub. They don't serve it anymore, unfortunately. But in the past, when they, if you've ever been there, you will see that they have a wall of cask ales. They have some keg beer and whatnot as well. But the main focus was English beer, some Belgian classics as well and whatnot. But because people wanted lager, Ian, the owner, imported some lager himself from Germany, mainly from St. Georgen Bräu, and got their Buttenheimer Kellerbier. And it was always on draft, and you got it served in steins, clay steins, the traditional German stein. I'm not using one today because I want you guys to see the color of the beer, but stein mugs. And that was the reason in the beginning why I got it. Like, I was new to craft beer. I was mainly drinking the real ales because I was getting into English beer. And then I had this Kellerbier. I was like, wow, that is so refreshing. It's so tasty. And it was so cool to drink it out of the mug. Later on, I think they switched to glasses as well because a lot of people stole, of course, the mugs. But yeah, they're really close to Bamberg. I've been to Bamberg a few times, but never to Buttenheim. They also have a beer keller outside of Bamberg. So outside of Bamberg, there are different beer kellers, which is like kind of like, I guess you'd say, tap rooms or beer cellars where they serve beer. And like each different brewery often has a cellar. There's food. And you sit under chastain trees and with a beautiful view over Bamberg with most of these places. It's really awesome. So if you have the chance, that's a must if you're like in Bamberg in the summertime. But let's start off with this beer and check it out. So this is a ungespundet Hefetrüb Kellerbier, which means that it's a Kellerbier fermented without pressure. So Kellerbier is an interesting style because it can be many things. Some brewers make Kellerbiers that are ales. Some brewers make Kellerbiers that are lagers. Some make darker Kellerbiers. Some make lighter Kellerbiers. There's quite a few varieties of them. Some people will even make like Keller Pilsners. So yeah, there's a lot of variation going on. But the biggest thing, like, there's also the twist of Kellerbier called Zwickelbier. So there's like quite a few different things. And with a lot of brewers these days, it's also marketing. But historically, a Kellerbier needs to be ungespundet, as it says here on the label. So that means it's fermented without pressure. So you get a little bit more yeast character than you would in your normal lager beer because it's not fermented without pressure or with pressure. And historically, also with Kellerbier, and I think it's also the case with this, it's also not lagered for as long as a lager. It's supposed to be drunk really fresh. It's young beer. So often, if you want to try Kellerbiers and you want to try them really good, this is actually not the best serving format. You need to go there and get it fresh, or at least make sure that your bottle is fresh. But it says it's a beer brewed to an ancient or really old recipe with the finest aroma hops, and it's a traditional Kellerbier that is unfiltered and brewed without or fermented without pressure, and yeah, completely untreated. But let's stop talking about it and have a look here. This is going to be so nostalgic. So as you see, it's a lightly hazy, very dark copper colored Kellerbier. So I think BJCP and all style guidelines, they split them up to two, like the light and the amber colored Kellerbiers. And this is definitely in the amber variety. So we've got some darker malts in there, Munich malts or something, Vienna malts, to give it more malt character. But what I remember from this, drinking it back in the day, it was also fairly hoppy. But yeah, not the prettiest color when it's a little bit hazy. I mean, it looks a bit muddy. And when I poured it out, it had the most massive, frothy, foamy looking head that just looked beautiful. So let's check out the aroma on the Georgen Bräu Buttenheimer Kellerbier. Wow, I'm so stoked to be revisiting this. I haven't had it in like, I don't know how many years. Actually, the last time I had this was in Bamberg at a restaurant in the street with all the beer bars called, I think, Die kleine Kackelofen. The small, some kind of oven. I think it's an old style oven. And they had it on draft, and I was like, oh, that's so amazing. And then with classic German food. But let's stop talking and check out the aroma. And thanks to Beer Dome for the beer. Yeah, definitely a malt-forward beer on the nose. Lots of toffee, lots of toasty, biscuity, bready notes. Freshly toasted bread. Really layered, complex malt character. Smells really good. I think the you can kind of see similarities to something like maybe a Vienna lager in terms of the malt complexities on it. Maybe just a little bit more hefty. Something in between Vienna lager and Munich Dunkel, because it's not as heavy as a Munich Dunkel. But yeah, really biscuity, really toasty, fresh toasty breadiness. And then on top of that, there's a nice aromatic hop character. It's not like bursting. It could be because of age, I don't know, or maybe it's just not as hoppy as I remember. But there's peppery, grassy, spicy hop nuances in here too as well. Yeah, it smells really good. It smells like somewhat like what I remember, just more malty. But let's see how it is. Let's give it a taste. Cheers, and thanks to Beer Dome for the beer. Yeah, surprisingly decent amount of hop character on it. That was really odd. Up front, it felt really full, and then it's like, then like the body just became like, the finish was super weird compared to having it on draft. Let me another sip. So it's 4.9%, and that was better. I don't know. It's relatively dry beer actually, but I also remember that dry, also more hop forward on the flavor, and then finishing with a lot of malt. But like when I had it back in the day, I remember it being much more vibrant on the hop character compared to this bottle here, and that could be age. But yeah, it's also, I think maybe I was thinking of a fuller body because of the color. But thinking back, it's never been a really full body beer. It's been kind of like the body of like a Pilsner or something like that, or something in that ballpark where it's like dry and just like nice and bitter without being like over the top. It's not like Pilsner bitter. It's more like, it's also more bitter than like a Helles maybe. I don't know the IBU content on this, but there is definitely something in there that is very nostalgic. I think it's like maybe a combination of a touch of Munich malt or in Vienna. I'm not sure if they do decoction mashing, but that like slightly more complex, caramelly, toffee, toasty, biscuity malt character with spicy herbal hops is what I remember. But I remember, again, it being more vibrant. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest, compared to having it on draft in Bamberg and also years ago. It's a really nice Kellerbier. Like, very nice layered malt complexity on it, but still like vibrant and light, which is really nice. So it's like really drinkable, really sessionable. Slight sweetness without being too much. So it's like lots of layered, complex malt, especially with it being like this state in the bottle. So I'm getting lots of that like caramel, biscuity, bready, slightly toffee nuances, toasty, bready nuances, freshly toasted bread. like a rustic type of kind of breadiness. But then with some like hop character as well and some decent bitterness. It's like that peppery, spicy, herbal, noble hop kind of flavor profile you have in there, which is really nice. I just remember it being more hop forward when I had it back in the day, but that could just be my palate being changed, you know, having tried many more different beers since then. Or maybe it's not the freshest bottle. That can also be a thing. It's like with lagers and what, like most beer, you just want it fresh. Fresh is always best, besides some styles that are built for aging. But yeah, I think it's really good at the source or back in the day on tap locally at the Wharf. I drink this all day, every day. I loved it. I'd give it like 92, 3-ish, maybe 94 even on a good day. Lovely, lovely killer beer. The state of the bottle, I will say I'm a little bit disappointed. It's not like as good as I remember. And I think that might just be because of age on this one. But I still think it's for sure a killer beer that's worth a shot. It's really nice killer beer. It's like maybe an 89, 88, almost in the 90s. It just feels a little bit more like a dud because it's just like quite a few notches less vibrant than what I remember. But yeah, I mean, that's sometimes how it is. That's also the problem with nostalgia sometimes. Maybe you put something up on pedestals more than it should be. But nice stuff. You can get this in Beer Dome if you want to check it out. So link for the shop is down below. They have a nice selection of classic German beer at the moment, as I said. So if you guys had the Georgen Bräu Buttenheimer Kellerbier, let me know what you thought of it. As always, subscribe. Check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram, and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I'm going to say cheers, and see you guys in another beer review.